Hello learners. So in this module, we are going to discuss about introduction of business analysis. Now, question arises, what is business analysis? Now, business analysis is a professional discipline of identifying business needs or problems and determining the solutions to business problems. It enables an enterprise to articulate the needs and the rationale for change and to design and describe the solution that can deliver the values. Solution of business problems often includes a system development component, process improvement, organizational change, strategic planning, policy development. So to summarize this, so business analysis is identifying the business needs and side by side solving a business problem. Now, if let's say so business problem is to deliver some value or to optimize some process. So solution of that problems sometimes or more often times includes any software development component or any system development component, or sometimes it could be some process improvement or some organizational change. Sometimes it could be some strategic planning, how you have to drive your business or how client or stakeholders should drive their business, or if they wanted to change anything or not, or whether they have to develop some policy or like they have to change or modify or remove the policy or not. Now, after understanding what is business analysis, we have to understand the needs of business analysis. What will be the need of business analysis? Now, it's a general fact that 71% of the failed software projects are traced to poor requirements. This has been published by CIO magazine. So, they have observed that out of 100%, so 71% of the software projects are failed because of the poor requirement gatherings. And 50% of the efforts in an average software project is fixing the errors. It could be the requirements defects, and uh, it is accountable for the 56% of the rework. This has been observed by the Butler Group, that is in 2005. Now, if we talk about some monetary loss, so over 250 billion of annual waste is traced to the poor requirement. That means that is a loss to all over the globe because of to identifying the poor requirements, or sometimes it has been simply the defect of the poor requirement gathering. Now 194.4 billion is spent on the software development, and out of which 46% is spent on the fixing software requirement errors only. So that is around 25% is spent on the fixing the errors only, and that is observed by the US Bureau of Economic Analysis. That was in back in 2008, and now if we sum up the value, then it could be more than like 300 billions or so. And also to prevent the loss of money and time, it is required to take the help of the business analysis. Now we have to understand that why most of the businesses project fail. So it is very common that bad requirement or too much of scope. If any requirement comes up to the business problem to business analysis team, and that has some uh, very good scope, like very vast scope to achieve, or some bad requirements that is not feasible. So that could lead a business project to failure, and then predefine the conclusions. So sometimes in the business projects, so we all conclude some predefined things. So that could lead the business project failure and too much waterfall in the project, which prevent the failing fast. Now, to understand the waterfall methodology, so we will be discussing around this in the later modules. But to give you the idea of what is waterfall, so it's a flow by flow process. In that, if we have three tasks, task A, B, and C. If we have to complete the task A and then only we can start the task B. So there is some dependency on the task A. So that's called the waterfall. Let's go by the project task to task, and it could lead to project failure. And then scope creep. So if we have a vast scope that is not feasible to achieve, then also it could lead to project failure. Then if conclusion are done without the data to support it, then it could lead the business project fail. If if the project plan has been executed badly, then it could lead the business project fail. Now, if we talk about the business analysis, now what will be the benefits of business analysis? So first of all, in terms of the monetary, so we can increase the ROI, that is return on investment, then increase the incremental revenue, decrease in the cost, better decision making, identifying the business requirement, benefits everyone in the business, identify market status of the business, then crisis anticipation and assessment of change. And there are many more benefits of the business analysis, but here are some examples of that. And now, if you want to understand how business analysis helps a business, then we have business analysis is performed on a variety of initiatives within an enterprise like strategic, tactical, and operational. And also, it can be used to understand the current state of the business and to define the future state. Now, if we want to talk about some uh, varieties of initiative where we can use the business analysis, so it could be the strategic, we can make the strategic decision, and some tactical to make ourselves ahead of um, our competitors, and some operational to reduce some operational cost or to reduce some operational time. And also, it is widely used to understand the current state of our business and what will be the future state of our business. Now, in the next learning, so we will be discussing around some illustrations of the business analysis problem. With this, thank you. Hello learners. So in this module, we will be discussing around illustration of business analysis problems. Now, the business problem statement categories. So if we talk about the categories of the various business problems, so those are mainly strategy, service or product, people, processes, application, information, and infrastructure. So if we discuss it into more, then we have first strategy. Now, if we talk about some illustrations, so we have the poor alignment with the business objective. So suppose we have some business objective and we have some poor alignment with that. So that could be some serious business problem, and that comes under the strategic business problem. Now, initiatives are currently not aligned with to an overall vision. So suppose we have some overall vision, that is our company's goal, and we have some initiatives which could not lead us to achieve our company's final goal. So that could be some serious business problem. And if we talk about the siloed implementation of the project, so it could be also the strategic business problem. And what will be the solution of this? So the solution will be define the scope at the very beginning of the project and also discuss the final product with the team and gather the ideas from the them. And then include all associated parties and prepare the RACI matrix when needed. Now we will be discussing around the RACI matrix in the later module. To give you the idea of what is RACI matrix, so RACI matrix is responsible, accountable, consulted, and informed. So in which we could list all the parties in the respective categories. Now coming to the next category, so that is service products. And illustrations will be impediment to service delivery due to ultimately retrieval of information and slow responsiveness in engaging sales leads due to ultimate retrieval of information and high level of product returns due to errors made on the sales order. What could be the solution of this? So first, check for the availability of information which required. Prepare a tracker where needed and do the quality checks of the gathered data with an actual data. So suppose you have some database connected and you have some issues with the retrieval of those information. So that could lead a service or product based business problem. So to do to solve that problem, so we can prepare a tracker and we can do the quality checks and we can also check check the availability of the information. Then next category will be people. And the illustrations will be inadequate training of staffs and or lack of capacity for the staff to support the areas of the business experiencing bottleneck. Poorly defined roles and responsibility create confusion and poor responsiveness to the operational demands and poor service delivery due to the staff capacity and training issue. Now, to solve these issues, so we can prepare a cross-skilling training plan for the staff and we can create the rules and assign the responsibilities and ask him to prepare the tracker for themselves. And then we can implement the API of the TAT in the operation. So that will be the turnaround time. And after that, we have the next category of processes. So illustrations will be myriad of duplicated business processes and application. Intensive manual processing due to the physical handling of paperwork, mailouts, and manual coordination of event. Double data entry and manual maintenance of the data in spreadsheet or personal databases. Now, to solve this issue, so first we can document the application and processes in a database. We can use the online PM tools and we can prepare a way to reduce the data entry efforts. And we also can use some database online cloud storage, or way to reduce the data entry efforts. We can use the if we are earlier using the Excel, so we can move to the Google Sheet. So that way, if any duplication happens, so we can get to know. And then next category is application. The illustrations of that will be poorly developed functionality due to inadequate definition of business and functional requirement, and out of date functionality caused by an constantly evolving business climate, and little or no application support due to proprietary or redundant software. The solution will be ask question about the final product and gets a confirmation from client before starting the work, and prepare an update planning of any product and use the authentic software in the pipeline. So that way we can overcome the issue. And the next category is the information. And the illustration of that will be unstructured information and content stored on various devices, making search and retrieval very difficult. And no metadata attached to information, making search and retrieval difficult. And disparate methods of coding the same type of database and disparate repositories. Now, the solution of that will be prepare a data warehouse or data mart for the business, prepare a tracker to track every information, and streamline the teams to use one repository and one coding method. Suppose earlier we were using SQL, then PostgreSQL, MySQL. So it could be very difficult to track each and every information. So what we can do, we can prepare a one data warehouse. It could be either in MySQL, it could be either in PostgreSQL, and that way we can collect all the information in one place. And then we have the infrastructure. And the illustration of that will be not a lot known about all the systems, making the strategic coordination of maintenance difficult. And multiple applications are supported on multiple systems, creating unnecessary maintenance overhead by supporting the duplicate systems. And the solution of that will be prepare a cross skilling plan for the team and do a feasibility checks for all the systems and use the system which satisfy the business needs. And then in the next learning, so we will be discussing around who is a business analyst. So with this, thank you. So in this module, we will be discussing around who is a business analyst. Now, first of all, what is a business analyst? The business analyst role is promising and has to deal with the different layers of an organization. A business analyst is a person who helps business to analyze their processes, products, services, and the system to improve the current processes and make profitable decisions through the insight and the data analysis. A business analyst also helps organization to document business processes by assessing the business model and its integration with the technology. Now, question arises, who is a business analyst? The business analysts have emerged to have a key role in the recent business scenarios. Some people think that the role of business analyst is to make money for the organization, which may not be true in the direct context. So, business analyst won't go for any sales or won't go into marketing. But so business analyst make money for the organization. That is indirect in the indirect context. But indirectly, the action and the decision taken by the business analyst will even impact on the financial prospects of the organization. Now, what does a business analyst do? The primary job responsibility of business analyst is to communicate with the stakeholder and to elicit the analysis and validate the business requirement for the changes to the business processes, information systems, and policies. A business analyst plays a big role in moving an organization towards the efficiency, productivity, and profitability. The foremost priority for any business analyst will be to tie the understanding of the following, that is, understand what business does and how it does, determine how to improve the existing business processes, identify the steps or tasks to support the implementation of the new feature. It could be the new feature, it could be the new decision which we have taken, it could be the policy which we have changed, or it could be some new operational process, and then design the new features to implement and analyze the impact of the implementing the new feature. So suppose we have implemented a new feature or policy, so we also have to analyze the impact of that in the organization and implement the new feature. And then in the next learning, so we will be discussing around the competencies of the business analyst. Hello learners. So in this module, we will be discussing around the competencies of a business analyst. Now, what will be the competencies of a business analyst? So any business analyst should have analytical skills, leadership skills, business process, planning skill, and then the technical skills. And if we talk about these skills into details, then first analytical skills. So understanding analytical skills will separate out a good business analyst. So suppose you have an extraordinary analytical skill, so you will be stand out into from the queue. And when we talk about the analytical skills, that often involves the below skills. That could be creative thinking. That is ability to generate the new ideas and approaches to solve the problems. And then the decision making, ability to understand the criteria needed to make the decision. And then learning, ability to quickly absorb the new and different types of the information. And then problem solving, ability to understanding the underlying cause of a problem and use problem solving techniques, conceptually thinking, that is the ability to understand the how disparate information fits into the larger picture. And then visual thinking, it is the ability to visually communicate complex concepts and model with the stakeholders. So these are the basic necessary things which any business analyst should have. And these skills are come under the analytical skills. And then if we talk about the more skills, then we have the leadership skills. One of the business analyst responsibilities is directing team members and forecasting the budget and helping team members with their problems, etc. As a business analyst, a person should be should be able to handle the team, act as a bridge between the multiple teams, stakeholders. So here leadership skills helps a BA to do this. And more often than any business analyst must have to communicate with different personas, or they have to explain certain criteria, or they have to check some team members. So those kind of things, if any business analyst have the leadership skill, so he will be able to do that. And then the business process and planning skill. And the typical role of the business analyst is to perform the below task. And that is planning the project scope, understanding and implementing the requirement of a project, identifying resource required for the project, identifying the risk involved in the project, and to do so, it requires a great knowledge of the different business processes and how to do the planning correctly. And lastly, to the technical skill. As a business analyst, a person should have working knowledge of the tools which involves in the project they are working. Suppose any project has some tools of like SQL, Power BI, or HTML, or CSS, Python, Java. So sometimes as a business analyst, you should be having some knowledge of those tools to help your team members. And then, for example, if a business analyst is in the IT sector, so the few technical aspects are expected to know, like operating systems, hardware capabilities, database concept, networking, SPLC methodology, etc. And if business analyst into the business intelligence sector, so the few technical aspects are expected to know, like different visualization tools, their capabilities, SQL to fetch the data, and development stages in the report and or dashboard building, etc. So these are the basic necessary skills which a business analyst must have. In the next learning, so we will be discussing. Hello learners. So in this module, business analyst, we will be discussing around responsibilities, business various domains, role and responsibilities in various domains. So first of all, we will start with the some common business analyst responsibilities. So there could be the long list which business analyst is responsible for, like evaluating the business processes, anticipating the requirement, uncovering areas for improvement, and developing and implementing the solutions, leading ongoing reviews of the business processes and developing the optimization strategies. So there could be many business scenarios. So where we have to optimize some strategies, or suppose we have to optimize some conversions, or we have to reduce the some cost or increase the ROI. So in that, business analysis skills will be helpful, and that will be the your responsibility as a business analyst. Then stay up to date on the latest process and IT advancement to automate and modernize the system. So suppose if you are a IT business analyst, so you should be staying up to date with the latest processes or different tools, and what are the IT advancement. Or if you are not in the IT domain, and if you are in a any other domain, then also it will be a helpful skill or responsibility that you have to follow. Like what are the advancement in your domain are done, and how you can like implement those advancement in your current organization. Then conducting the meetings and presentation to share the ideas and the finding. And that is why some presentation skills or some behavioral skills will be helpful for you to share some ideas or share some findings, or to show the development, or to demonstrate a product, or to give the overall idea or the project scope, the stakeholder, and then performing the requirement analysis. Now, in requirement analysis, so there could be many analysis we do in requirement analysis, like gap analysis, then feasibility analysis. So it will be your responsibility to conduct that analysis or perform that analysis. Now, then documenting and communicating the result of your efforts. So whatever you did with your team, that you have to communicate or document in a well documented format to show the result, and then effectively communicating your insight and plans to cross functional team members and management, and then gathering the critical information from the meetings with various stakeholders and producing the useful report. So suppose there will be some meetings in which some critical information has been shared. So it will be the responsibility of a business analyst to gather that information and to document that, and uh, to produce some reports from that, or at least to document that, and then working closely with the client, technicians, and managerial staff. And here, as a business analyst, it will be the responsibility of you that you closely work with all the stakeholders, all the clients, all the team members, all the developers, and the some managerial staffs to facilitate the team members or to facilitate the project, and then providing the leadership, training, coaching, and guidance to the junior staff. So you have to provide some training, or you have to provide some coaching, or you have to guide your junior staff, or you have to provide some leadership skill to your junior staff. And then allocating the resources and maintaining the cost efficiency. And it will be a crucial part of a business analyst that they have to allocate the resources and also they have to maintain the cost, and then ensuring the solution meet the business needs and the requirement, performing the user acceptance testing. So sometimes it is referred as a UAT. So at the end of every stage, so it will be a responsibility of a business analyst that they do a UAT testing to check if the specification or requirement is met or not, and if the test result is failed for a particular project or anything, so they will pass it to the developer. And then managing the project, developing the project plans, and monitoring the performance of the team of the or the project, and then updating, implementing, and maintaining the procedures. So whatever the procedures are there as per the business requirement, so they have to update that, or they have to implement that, and also they have to maintain that procedure. And then prioritizing the initiative based on the business need and requirement. So suppose business need some initiative as a priority, so they have to take those tasks as a priority one, and then serving as a liaison between the stakeholders and the users, and managing the competing resources and priorities, monitoring the deliverables, and ensuring timely completion of the project. So this will be the some common business analyst responsibilities. Now, If we talk about some domain specific business analyst responsibilities, so here we have covered few of them like financial business analyst responsibility. So their responsibility includes the provide analytical, forecasting, reporting, and project support to the senior management. And they have to produce the reports like monthly reports or which can include the key metrics, some financial reports, or some variance reporting. So variance reporting is nothing but budget versus actual versus target. And spearhead the annual and quarterly budgeting and forecasting processes, identify the opportunities for performance improvement across the organization, maintain knowledge, and keep abreast of new investment regulation or policies. So they have to maintain their knowledge and they also have to look for any regulation which have been changed by the government or any other financial institutes. And then they have to develop the models that help with the business business decision making. And then if we talk about the IT domain, then their responsibility will be identify and resolve the project issue, analyze the complex business problems and determine an IT solution, gather data and analyze the business and user needs, provide recommendation on hardware and software process procurement to support clients' business goals, coordinate the development of the documentation to enable the implementation and turn over the process of system, define objectives and scope of business system, work closely with managers and end user to determine the best IT solution, and then conduct a post project evaluation. So all of the business analyst responsibility will be very common between among all the domains, and some specific domain they have additional requirements. And if we talk about the BI perspective, business intelligence, business analyst responsibility, so they have to review and validate the customer data as it is collected, oversee the deployment of the data to the warehouse, develop the policy and procedures for the collection and analysis of data, and create or discover new data procurement and processing programs, then cooperate with our IT department to deploy software and hardware upgrade that make it possible for company to leverage big data use cases, monitor analytics and metrics result, implement the new data analysis methodologies, review the customer files to ensure the integrity of data collection and utilization, and then perform the data profiling to identify and understand the anomalies. So these are the mainly responsibility for the business analyst who are working in the business intelligence or who want to work in the business intelligence. They also should have some technical knowledge of SQL or some visualization skill to understand the data and understand the visualization of the data. And then in the next learning, so we will be discussing around the business analysis, planning and monitoring. So with this, thank you.